Juice Bar NFL free agency. I got a couple questions for my guy Alex.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about who has the juice, who's in the blender, secret ingredient, a.k.a. the best under the radar move this off season. The NFL never sleeps. The NFL draft is right around the corner in April. I have so many off season, like everything seems so clear to me with what direction a lot of these NFL squads should go. If you guys remember, if you're Juice Bar loyalists, a few years ago, I said Pittsburgh should trade TJ Watt and reset.
You did say that.
They had this gap year, whatever last year was. They won 10 games. They had a chance to make the playoffs, or they did make the playoffs. They stumbled into the playoffs. They lost 3 in a row and got smoked in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Wasn't a real competitive squad in the AFC. Overachieved. Now they're in a very similar situation where they go get a wide receiver in DK Metcalf. They don't have a quarterback. They're still waiting on this Aaron Rodgers. But it's still a stopgap. For me as a fan, I want to be rebuilding or competing. Forget about all this minutia in the middle. You can do it very quickly, too, in the NFL.
Oh, yeah.
That's why the NFL offseason for me is always very interesting. Alex Monaco. Now that a lot of offseason moves have been made, who has the juice currently as we sit here in the middle of March?
Off the top, and there's several, but I got to give it to the Washington Commanders. They do everything you should do when you lock in a franchise rookie QB.
And not waiting. Not like year 4 and like right now. Second year.
Excellent buy low on Debo, by the way, who's getting dogged and dragged for being festively plump and not a gamer, and he's going to fit excellent with Scary Terry as a 1-2. Also, they could use some help in the backfield as well. Then they get Tunsil. I mean, I can't believe a decorated Pro Bowler who's been protecting on the Texans O-line for years got dealt like that. And you spoke on it before. They re-signed some veterans, key veterans.
Culture.
Ertz, Bobby Wags, even Bates, the second-string tight end. This team is just trending towards the right direction. Everything you just said off the top, they know where they're going, and they're just adding and peppering in culture, and a Tunsil and a Debo with some key re-signings. Got to give them the juice, baby.
I agree wholeheartedly. I mentioned it on the Better Half Hour. Make sure you guys are tapping into that on MSG. Alex Monaco killing it over there. But I mentioned it on
That's where you said it.
the Better Half.
That's right.
They're making all the right moves you want to be. They were literally desolate, lonely, done. Fan base hated them. Nothing going on for the Commanders.
Our whole lives almost.
2 years, it flips. They go and get the Heisman Trophy winning quarterback. He shows up as every bit as good as advertised. And now, like you mentioned, they immediately start making moves. Not wait, not let's see, not go get him a guy that can protect his blind side for years to come.
Yeah.
Let's get him a Swiss Army knife and a weapon in Debo.
It's unbelievable.
Let's continue to keep the guys that set the tone in Ertz and
Wags.
Bobby Wagner. And let's continue to stack up on what we've been doing. Jaden Daniels is going to carry us. Let's try to get him as many tools as we possibly can. That's exactly what they've been doing. I agree. The Commanders have the juice along with
the
Chicago Bears.
Woo-hoo-hoo!
I mean, it's simple.
What a moment.
When we're talking about the juice right now, everybody's 0-0. It's the Chicago Bears, man.
They did it.
They retool completely the offensive line. Ben Johnson, they get the best coach available on the market. I think that's unanimous.
Yeah.
Throughout every league circle that he was the best option. He wanted to come. It wasn't that he got paid and came. He wanted to come and got paid. A lot of the conversation last year was, because remember, speaking of the Commanders, Ben Johnson declined the Commanders' job. He didn't want it.
Well said.
And that was because he knew, like I knew, the Bears under Eberflus were going to be garbage.
Yeah.
And they should have fired him last year. That he probably wouldn't make it another year. And I get the opportunity to try to make a real Super Bowl run with the Lions, which they did. Now in Chicago, they retool everything. They're going to go get more weapons. They still got the draft coming up. I mean, it goes without saying that the Bears have the juice at the moment.
I'm with you. Who's in the blender? You kind of gave it out the gate for me. I'm with you on Pittsburgh.
Yeah, they're in the
Dude.
they're in a smaller blender than like for me like the Cowboys, but like yeah.
Oh, Cowboys
Who
is a
will get to
great
who's in the
one.
blender? But yeah, talk to me about Pittsburgh.
I mean, it's almost like there's nervous energy over there. Like did they let the Steelers Reddit pressure them into a $30 million receiver? You don't have a quarterback. I mean, now Harris is with Harbaugh. So you lose Najee, so you lose a little bit of dog. You got to give him a little bit of credit for running the ball right with not a household offensive line at all. They let Fields go to the Jets. They clearly don't want Russ back. I mean, you want to talk about juiceless? Who's in the blender? Pittsburgh is a coveted. It's Steelers country, football culture, and I don't know if they know who their culture is.
This is where I got to push back because we don't know who the quarterback's going to be. And we've sat in these specific chairs and talked about how we believe Aaron Rodgers has a lot left.
Yes.
So if he does land there, then
they're out of the blender.
You have to scrap this whole segment, right?
They're out of the blender.
That's why I kind of got to push back and give them a little leeway because if they land Aaron Rodgers, like I believe a lot of people think they will, then
right now it's Mason Rudolph. For 2 years. For 2 years, $8 million. And I got a problem with that.
Well, we know it's not going to be Mason Rudolph.
No, I know, but they totally did that as a familiar, we can bring him. He can win 6-7 games.
Type thing, yeah.
100%.
So, could be Kirk Cousins. Could be a couple guys that could potentially win a few games. But putting Kirk Cousins in that spot would be, you might as well just brought Russell Wilson back. Would be the exact same guy.
It's weird that we're doing that, but it's true.
Almost to a T. It would be the exact guy. So, yeah, Rodgers is the only guy I think lifts the tide a little bit.
I'm disappointed, though. I'm disappointed that a guy like Tomlin, who's such a good leader of men, clearly, and a culture setter, the quarterback thing is obviously it's
he didn't
ridiculous.
believe in Justin Fields. That was clear. He didn't believe in him last year. He still didn't believe in him, so I let him walk. So if they get Rodgers,
it's going to be one of the bigger botches and stains on Tomlin's entire resume if Fields goes to the Jets and balls with Aaron Glenn, another ball knower. I just got to throw that out there.
Sure.
I mean, everyone thinks Fields is just going to throw it, pack it in. He did nothing wrong in those first 6 weeks with the Steelers. I'm very disappointed they didn't run it back with him. But to your point, they clearly didn't see anything.
Yeah, and I think when you add a guy like Aaron Rodgers, it's clearly a stopgap. If you're signing up for Justin Fields, it's kind of like more of a future thing. Like this is going to be a multiple year thing. So that's where I believe Tomlin was turned off by Justin because you got to sign up for it. You got to give him a little bit of time. That's where it gets really spooky. That's why it's always so interesting, like with rookie quarterbacks, because if you don't play them initially and then you throw them in there, you're shortening their time to develop. And it feels like this rookie window is getting smaller and smaller where fans give a rookie 6 games. It's like, this guy stinks.
It's unbelievable.
Like Bryce Young, he's done. Get him out of here.
It's unbelievable.
Then he shows flashes. He's actually maybe a little better than everybody thinks. So that's where it gets
Does
tough.
Pittsburgh go grab a guy? Do they trade up? I mean, is that in the conversation? I see.
Well, like Michael Penix it and go get like
I
Rodgers and then
see
get
some
and then get like Jackson Dart or something.
I mean, I do see some crazy Shadur rumors.
He's just going to fall off the cliff.
No, that the Steelers are going to go up and get him.
Oh.
But, I mean, like Cleveland's just staring at 2 franchise quarterbacks and can pick one, and they're going to somehow blow it. Like, I just think Cleveland has a chance to blow this. And the irony of a divisional foe to come in and swoop.
Yeah.
But, yeah, who's in the blender for you?
Dallas
Cowboys?
I mean, you want to blender's not even the right word. The Dallas Cowboys may win 5 games next year. I'm not joking.
It's bad, man.
You want to see a franchise and a team in free fall. First of all, teams don't fall off a cliff in one offseason. This has been building for 2 full years. They didn't want to pay Dak. And it's not that you didn't want to pay Dak or you waited to pay Dak and you didn't know what you wanted to do with CD. It's that there's no direction. Everything seems like it's off. Every decision being made is just off the seat of Jerry Jones' pants. Just like, all right, I'll sign him today. Okay, I'll do this interview. We'll cut him. We'll keep him. Let's go back and get my guy Zeke. Like, there was a window where it's like, man, Jerry Jones, say what you want. He's the owner. He's an old guy that likes the attention, but he's putting together a pretty good roster here. Like, the Dallas Cowboys are winning games year in, year out, and have a competitive roster.
Yeah.
The last 2 years, though, has been the first time where you're kind of looking at the squad like, what's going on here? There's no direction. They're not adding anyone. They let Dan Quinn walk out of the building.
Kellen Moore out of the building.
They kept McCarthy probably too long. They just seem rudderless and directionless. And now you have a big three that's going to be taking up a vast majority of the cap. But the rest of the roster's in shambles. Martin is retiring.
Lawrence into Seattle.
So they are absolute. And then on top of that, the Super Bowl champions in your division, and the Commanders have one of the top 5, 6, 7 quarterbacks in the NFL.
Yeah.
And he's in year 2. You are in dire straits if you're the Dallas Cowboys. They are in trouble.
It's bad news over there, man.
The culture isn't there.
There is no culture.
There is no culture.
There's a Ferris wheel and popcorn and a show in the stadium.
You want to talk about the grinder and noise that's going to be loading up? The NFC East is going to be talked about probably the most in any division in the NFL next year, and everything is going to be negative about the Dallas Cowboys, and it's all going to be positive about their counterparts. And I don't know.
Yeah.
There doesn't seem to be a clear lane on how they get out. The way they get out is you have to commit to ripping it down, and Jerry Jones, Pete, can you pull up how old Jerry Jones is? That's where this gets spooky because guys 87, 88.
82.
82. An old 82. I'll say it. He's an older 82. He I don't believe, has the patience to rip the team down for 2 years and try to build it back up while he's in control of it.
My question, he does the whole landman monologue. Was there no self-reflection with the actor that he was portraying in that moment? I don't watch Landman. I saw the Billy Bob and the John Hamm scene. But like that whole he's 82. When is he going to relinquish power?
Did you think he was older than 82, to be honest?
Yeah.
I thought he was 86, 87.
Yeah, Line of the Day is an old 82.
An old 82.
How do you not relinquish? The Dak signing at the, literally, let's sign him at the Marriott at 11 a.m. and we're playing at 1. It's just one of the worst, piecemeal offseason stories that was so poorly put together. And again, doing a Miami Dolphins thing while Howie and even Joe Shane and clearly the management with the Commanders, everyone's taking ball seriously in the division, as you just alluded to. And they're over here signing a wide receiver for top dollar, a quarterback who, let's be honest, has won nothing in the playoffs and just puts up accolades, and then another guy closer to Paul George on the podcast scene in Parsons than Sirius. I mean, dude, it's all right to make them out to be a barnyard musical when they're winning 10, 11 games. Now it's just starting to get Adventureland off season. I'm trying to think of a theme park shut down. You're walking through it. It is
spooky.
I was gonna ask though, Alex, you're big on the Giants, more from a ROI, kind of opportunity, but
big.
Who finishes worse? Who finishes better?
I know. I was just going to ask.
Cowboys.
Hot take: the Cowboys finish 4th. I could sign up for that if it's at least 5-1.
Yeah, I mean, it all depends on who's going to. It's tough to slot a rookie quarterback who will be playing for the Giants.
Yeah, if it's not Rodgers.
Yeah, you can imagine to be better, but man, I would not be shocked if they came in and somehow pulled off with a rookie quarterback 7 or 8 wins, and the Dallas Cowboys had 6.
6 and 11.
I think it's very, very feasible that it could be Eagles, Commanders, Giants, Cowboys in the division.
The Giants have lost 8 in a row to the Cowboys, so it's about time for things to swing.
They'll beat the Cowboys this year, I can promise you.
Yeah,
at least once.
Oh, you're gonna like my secret ingredient.
Talk to me.
Bears.
Best under the radar move, by the way.
Bears. I put Bears O-line, but it's both sides with Jarrett. The Bears, man. I mean, I'm bummed I didn't jump in the mid-40s on them to win it all. You already know where I'm at. I'm going against the Lions all year. I'm all in on the Bears, man. I think this is an unbelievable story. It's a great sports town. My co-host has got Chicago in his social handle. I gotta rock with Pete and my guy, Sean, all things Bears. I mean, they took the offseason seriously. I guess Poles is now polling positive. Literally. I mean, awful dad joke there. I can't believe I got a chuckle.
It's true.
But no, I mean, Poles has been the most interesting. We hate him. And then, man, when you were doing that Fields take, it's like you almost like you're in a happy relationship now talking about this toxic scenario you used to be in and how nice it is. You have quarterback and coach, and you're building proper infrastructure. It's got to be the Bears for me.
Yeah, I mean, I could talk about the Bears all day long. I think they won the offseason. In a league that's hard to do.
They're in there.
They're very up there and have a real chance to make some noise if Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams. The thing here is we're almost running out of excuses already for Caleb Williams. It's like, look, offensive line is going to be solid. You have a great offensive mind. You got to have a couple weapons. Like,
I know.
You know what I mean? So we'll see what happens there. I think underrated, under the radar, no one's talking about this, Christian Kirk to the Texans.
Wow.
Like, he's a good wide receiver. He got lost in Jacksonville under a couple different administrations, you can call it, and a guy that seems to get so much love and is a very mediocre quarterback in the golden child, Trevor Lawrence. He's going to be really good for the Texans. They have weapons. If Diggs can come back and be solid, Kirk, Diggs, Tank Dell, like they have a lot of guys offensively. If they get that offensive line situated, Stingley signs the big extension.
Yeah.
Texans in a soft division where Daniel Jones might be the quarterback in Indianapolis. They can make a lot of noise. So Christian Kirk for me is the under the radar addition.
Yeah.
I think is a good one.
All right, yeah, I like it.
NFL free agency.
Yep.
League doesn't sleep.
Let's go.
NFL draft loading.
For more Juice Bar, make sure to check out the podcast wherever you get your audio platforms. We're on Spotify. We're on Apple, Google Play. Keep it rolling. More Juice Bar. Stay locked in.